All right, starting section 5 of chapter 2. And again, some of these are getting to be a little bit challenging. Here we see in number 1 the slope formula, where they're saying m is 1/3, that I put right there. And then y sub 2 we don't know, but y sub 1 is 3, and the formula has a negative, so negative 3. And then y sub 2 is 7 minus a minus 2, which will make this a plus. Now, a way we can do this that we haven't really taught you yet, but it's a good way, is when you have a fraction equal a fraction, we can actually cross multiply. So we go 1 times this, which is going to be 9. We'll get to that plus 9 in a minute. And then we go 3 times y sub 2, and then 3 times the negative 3 is my negative 9. Now I'm going to move that negative 9 over, becomes a positive 9. So that's where that 9 comes from. And this is going to be then 18. And then we have a 3, y sub 2. We're going to divide both sides by 3. So the 3's cancel out here. I get y sub 2. This is 18. Divided by 3 is 6. Now if I put a 6 there, 6 minus 3 is 3. Over, we got our bottom as being 9. That equals 1/3. So this checks. And interestingly, again, I found an error in the answer key. So we're doing a lot of substitution here and trying to find the unknown. Here, the unknown is going to be the letter H, which is what I put there. And I put this in here. This is the original volume. And there's pi. And there's the radius that I have to square. So this is going to become a 9. We'll take that away here. So we have a 1/3 this. Now, actually, let's do a little modification here, because look what happens here. This 3 will actually cancel out here. And forget about this one up here too. I was going to do it another way. This 3 will cancel with the 9. Yep, I didn't want to erase it. I wanted to cancel it out. All right, a 9. This is going to give me a 3 here. Okay. So we now have 7.1, which will be divided now by 3 times 3.14. Now, this will cancel out here, and we just have to divide this side now by whatever 3 times 3.14 is, and I can put that in my calculator. And 3 times 3.14, and then we have a letter H over here. It's getting a little complicated, but dividing this by that, we get H is 5. Wow, we did a lot of substitution. And the other way would have been is that we could have said, got rid of the 3 here by multiplying both sides by the 3. And then we would just divide by pi r squared. And with the, well, anyway, that's the way to do it. We're looking for strategies to do these. So in this case, it's just finding what V is, because we have 4/3 times pi, which is 3.14, times 9 cubed. So what you need to do with your calculator is you go 9 cubed, then times it by 3.14, then times it by 4, and then divide by 3. And that should then be 3052.0 M1103. Okay. Strategy for doing number 4. Now, as I substitute in here, I see a 1/2 of 7. Well, we can just do that and get, to make this a little easier, 3.5 there. So half of 7 is 3.5. So we're going to multiply this. We're going to multiply that. Now that'll give us, as we distribute here, 28 plus 3.5b. Now we're going to subtract 28 from both sides, or just transpose it. And that gives us 17.5 equals this. We'll divide both sides by 3.5, and we get b equals 5. And that's cool, right there. Yeah, it would be a little better if I had a little bit more room here to write things out. But there's, for number 5, our interest formula. Interest is 1,200. The principal is 10,000. The rate is 4% that we have to put in as a decimal. We don't know the time. So we're going to divide both sides by what's over here. And by the way, when I did that multiplication, it came out to be 400. So we're dividing both. This is 400. This is 400. This is 400. We're dividing both sides by 400. And then this cancels, becomes 3. So our time is 3. Now here's the formula we're going to use in our next chapter, chapter 3, which is the slope-intercept. Y is 4. We don't know m. X is 9 plus 2. So how do we solve that? Well, we want to solve for 9, so we're going to bring this over to the other side. It becomes a -2 there. -2 plus 4 is 2. 2 equals m9. We're going to divide both sides by 9, and m equals 2/9. By the way, m is the slope, as we'll find out later. Okay, 7 and 8 are similar to ones we've done. Again, we want to show you a little bit, and then some different things as well. Here are the answers for 7 and 8. Now, number 9 is something new. We want to convert 77 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius. There's the formula. So we put the 77 in for F, subtract 32, and that'll give us 45. Now notice the 9 will go into there once. 9 goes into there 5 times. So 5 times 5 is 25 degrees Celsius. And for this one, we've substituted the 55 for C. Now notice we can do some canceling here. Here we get 9 times 11 is 99, plus 32 is your 141. Going on to number 11, this is a two-step problem. First, we have to figure out the area, which is 4,500 feet. And a bag covers 2,000, so we divide 4,500 by 2,000, and that would be 2.25. So to have enough, you're going to need 3 bags. And for number 12, we need a distance formula. Distance equals rate times time. Here's the distance. This is the rate. We divide both sides by 60, and we get t equals 4. That is, it will take them 4 hours. Now, keep in mind as you do these problems, especially word problems, you should think of an answer statement that sort of summarizes. And I see we're just hitting on 10 minutes here, so we'll be a little longer. Now, as we do these next two, reading it carefully, it's a pentagon, five-sided figure. Two sides are the same. One is x, one is 0.5x and 2x. Add all of these up, equal it to 130. Solve it for x. X is 20. And then you fill in your various sides. Now, 14 is a two-parter also. You're this many miles. We're going to use the distance formula. We're going to travel 50 miles an hour. So we have to find the time. So we divide both sides by 50. We get t equals 5.32 hours. But what is 0.32 in terms of minutes? Well, we multiply 0.32, which is hours, times 60, and we get 19.2 minutes. Now, they want to know at what time do they arrive? Well, if they leave at 4:30, then we add now 5.19 minutes, not the 32. Remember, this is a decimal of hours. So you had to convert this decimal of hours to minutes by multiplying 0.32 times 60. 60 minutes in an hour. You find out that's 19.2. And if we round off at 19, add them together, our time is this. Okay, we're going to solve now for a specified variable. So our answer will be in letters. We're going to use the same techniques as we use for solving equations. We want to isolate the d. So over on this side, there's the p already. So I'm going to bring the a over as a negative a, the b over as a negative b. Let's try a b there. So I'm just transposing all those letters. The a is a negative, the b is a negative, the c is a negative, and d is left all by itself. So that's how we find d. All right, here we want to solve for y, and we want y to be positive. So there's a couple of ways to do this. Let's do it the traditional way. So we're going to take the x, there's my negative 7y, going to transpose the x. On this side it becomes a negative x plus 14. Now to solve for y, I'm going to divide everything by a negative 7. And our 14 didn't come out very well. Okay, so this now becomes a positive y equals a negative 1/7. No, that became a positive actually. Negative divided by a negative x, and this becomes a negative 2. Now I would have done it a little different way. I would have transposed the 7 to make it positive, but that's okay. You can always divide by a negative, but be sure every term is divided by a negative. And here, two negatives make a positive. And just to clean this up, we don't write the positive. Okay, number 17. We want to solve for capital A. It's got a fraction. First thing I'm going to do is multiply both sides by 3. The 3's now on this side cancel out, and I get 3v equals AH. Now to get the A by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by H. And there's my answer. This is an H. Otherwise it looks like an N. Okay, we're at 15 minutes now, so we're down to the clock. So here's this. We want to solve for L. So I'm going to transpose that. just goes to the other side as a negative. And now I'm just going to divide both sides by 4u. 4u. And then this cancels out, and L equals that. For here we want to solve for y, so I'm going to transpose that as a negative ax on this side. And now we're going to divide by b. So y equals that. And now we want to do the same, but we want to solve for x this time. So we're going to transpose that. It goes on the other side, just opposite sign. And we divide now by a. And don't forget to make a division bar that captures both of these on top, because that's a grouping symbol. The a's cancel out. Okay, 16 minutes, not too bad.